Grand day. I was going to do the Instagram live things, but I'm being guided in another direction, so we're going to honor that. But grand day, um, grand rising, grand evening, whenever you're happening to see this, I was sharing. I feel called to share um, about my reinvigoration of what I'm doing. So I have taken a hiatus from posting content because I really wanted to focus on my yoga practice and being consistent with that and showing up for myself first. And it was a really beautiful time, and I'm grateful for that. And during this past weekend, I had a great time celebrating life with my sister friend, Carrie, and my new sister friend, Monique. Hey, girl. Um, and I had some really interesting experiences that really um, sparked my mind and my heart and my spirit. So we went to the club. We went to the club to see a drag show, and it was stunning and fierce. And when I went, I didn't take any like money things with me. I was like, Carrie said she's gonna cover it, so I'm gonna just receive. I'm going to receive. You feel me? And she gave us some money to tip the queens because they are performers and it is quite a spectacular show, very entertaining. And in that moment, I was pretty tipsy and I was I was just so aware of how much work I've done with myself that I was able to be in that environment and like be tipsy and still be like mindful that energy is money. That money is energy, I should say, and being um, loving and generous with my intention. You feel me? Like everything that I gave out was given with love, with gratitude, even in my intoxicated state. And I was like very proud of myself because there was a time there was a time when it wasn't all that always that way, but I have been doing this work for some years now to restructure my mindset, and I was just really grateful that it took throughout the evening because it was a long evening, y'all. And we were like walking around Beale Street and just taking in the history of it and people watching and just enjoying each other's company, and it was so chill, and we were out till like 4 a.m. But it was so chill, and I've definitely been out to 4 a.m. and like much more chaotic circumstances, so it was just a very mature experience. And I was grateful that I was able to enjoy myself the entire time and be at peace and be grateful and be celebrating life. It was so incredibly insightful and um, beautiful, and I was grateful for the opportunity to celebrate life. And during the end of the evening, we're getting our Uber, which was a bit of a situation. You feel me? Um, we Carrie had ordered the Uber, and like three times it just was like re they changed their driver. And the first driver that we had, we were like in this space where it was kind of like blocked off, and like, but one street was open. And I'm like, hey, should we like go down this way? Because that seems like where the cars are. She's like, no, I want to stay right here because I want to make sure that it's pinged right where he has it. I was like, okay, bet. And then, they were like, we're here. And we're like, okay, we're here. Where are you at? And so I decided to walk to the corner after a couple of minutes, just to see and check because there had been some cars passing by and where the road was blocked off. And I looked and I was like, oh, wait, what's the, license plate? And I was like matching it. And as soon as I started to like, oh yeah, this is our ride, and like wave carry over, they literally drove away. They like skirt. I was like, hello? Oh, okay. And so that was the first one. And then the other two, I have no idea what happened, but we were just standing there, um, waiting, talking, and this first thing happened because there were a few things that happened. So this first thing happened that reinvigorated me, that ignited me. Well, I guess it was the second thing because the first thing was the money and having awareness of the energy exchange of it all. Um, but the second thing that happened was this person who I'm assuming lived on the street, um, very clearly somewhere on the spectrum or with a mental condition. They approached us and they're like, y'all looking beautiful tonight, ladies. And, very like kind of quirky. I can't think of the term that I want to say, but, they're like kind of looking to the side and they're like doing kind of some awkward things with their body. And they're talking to us, but not like really making eye contact. And this is something that I've seen plenty of times, also having um, been living on the streets and living in LA in general. Um, but they approached us and we kind of just started talking. Well, they started talking, and I could see, even at my 4 a.m. tipsiness, that this individual was replicating an experience from their life. And that's something that a lot of people who are unhoused do when they have trauma. It causes them to literally actually replay those situations all the time in any space because they don't really know how else to process it. And I think that a lot of people tend to get frightened by that because they don't know how to hold themselves in that space or how to hold space for others. But again, I was proud of myself to recognize that and to be able to hold that energy and not cast any judgment or try to push them away or feel any fear, even. Um, Once I recognized that they were reiterating some trauma that they had with their parent and some other person, um, and it seemed like I'm not sure of their gender because they were kind of neutral, but they were like explaining a situation where an adult had done something to them and they told their mother, but the mother didn't believe them, and then they ended up getting in trouble type of situation. So it was one of those stories of like trauma being suppressed, and then also the fear of, oh, this person who is my mother supposed to take care of me, because we all believe that as children, actually abused me more, you feel me? So definitely some trauma dumping, uninvited trauma dumping, but I was able to in that space recognize that and send my energy. And we did accidentally, well, I guess not so accidentally because I was kind of being intentional about it. We did eventually make some eye contact, and I did send some calming energy to them, and we were able to kind of just, be in that situation. And was like, I send you love. I completely, I can, I can completely understand why that's something that you would be traumatized by. You feel me? Like giving that type of vibe of connecting instead of separating. Even though we're standing outside of the Westin waiting for an Uber, waiting for an Uber, and this random person walks up to us, and there's a bunch of other people around, and in those types of situations, people tend to get pushed away because of social ideas. You feel me? Um, so to kind of wrap up that story, we're standing outside. It's kind of one of those situations where it was one of those situations where we could have dismissed this person, but I felt we were all pretty chill in that moment, and I was doing my best to be opening and welcoming. Um, And at one point, they prayed for us to get our Uber. And I was like, yes, yes, Lord, please send the Uber. Please help us get home safe. And, and they went about their way. And I really felt like that was like an angel moment. You know, those moments where you're like, what if God was one of us? And we just assume that people who may be sporadic in their movements or like um, recycling their trauma, or not recycling, but like reciting it, I guess is a more accurate term, but like reciting their trauma in these like sporadic, uninvited ways, that they are somehow lesser or different from us. And in that moment, I was able to be like, this is a human person who has had an experience that has probably led them into that kind of behavior in that kind of mind space. And I was able to be open and be loving in that moment, and hold space for them. And as uh, a reward of sorts, we got a free prayer. We got a prayer, and then our Uber did end up coming. And that third thing that happened was we got this young female Uber driver, driver, and she was. We were just talking, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm an artist. I'm a life coach, and I'm helping people like um, tap into themselves, and I'm learning more about the universal laws." And she just kind of like, "Ooh, universal laws. I'm curious about that. I want to know more about that." And I just kind of started talking and going into it again, tipsy, into the best of my ability, because it was also challenging, because I wasn't really able to gauge where her knowledge was at. And this is why I was invigorated, because she was so hungry. She was so thirsty and so curious for more knowledge about the universal laws, about um, just mental. What was it? What was the book she? Um, there was a book that she recommended that's not coming to my brain right now. Hold on. Mastering Your Emotions. She was talking about that book, and I was telling her about this book that I've been getting into called The Formula. And yeah, we were just like talking, and I was like, okay, universal laws. And I was like, okay, start from the top. I was like, have you heard of the concept of divine oneness? And she's like, no, what's that? Tell me. And I'm doing my best to explain how everything comes from a single source. If you believe in God, if you believe in like the Big Bang, science, um, like everything comes from that source, which means that we are all from that same source and we are all one. And she was like asking questions, and I was really doing my best. And Carrie's in the car with me. I'm like, is she gonna like tap in at some point? Get a little support in the room. You feel me? Um, but she did it, and then I was like, yeah, that's one of them. And I was like, there's a whole bunch of them. And I was like, have you heard of the law of attraction? And she's like, nah, nah, what's that? And then Carrie was like, you haven't heard of the law of attraction? And she was so shook, and it like really just re-sparked the conversation, because you know in the circles that I run in, that the people that I connect to and have conversations with, we talk about these things all the time. Like, the content I consume is pretty involved and at a different level of that understanding the universal laws, and having that conversation and really deepening it. So when she said she hadn't heard of the law of attraction, my brain really was like, yo, there are billions of people on this planet who have not heard of the universal laws, who have a desire to grow in their life, who are seeking to understand themselves better, and who are just really open to that. You feel me? And like really thirsting for it. And it just blew my mind wide open and gave my heart such a restart in that moment, because again, I'm kind of in this cocoon of individuals who are on this journey, who have been on this journey, who study on a regular basis, and all these types of things. And I'm thinking like either people know and they're doing it, or they don't care to know. But there are some people in the middle of that who don't know, but they really want to know. And they're doing their best to learn how they can, but they just don't have that exposure. They don't have that community. You feel me? They don't have those types of conversations on a consistent basis. And I was like, this interaction, this third energy exchange of the evening has been the like the cherry, the cherry on top of my cake on my Sunday. And I don't even like those cherries like that, but it was the cherry on top because it really like it was like the chocolate sauce. You feel me? Because I was like, this is so like stimulating intellectually to be able to have the opportunity to speak into this person, this fresh individual who um, has the desire and the drive to be filled and be taught and be, have conversation. And it's more of a teaching opportunity for me and an opportunity also just to share and help people who don't have an understanding have a better understanding instead of just expanding on the concepts. We're getting started back at the seed, and I felt such a spark in my heart, which is why I wanted to create this video. I did want to do it live, but it is what it is. um, just to really share that, because there are so many people out here, and I'm at a point in my work where in my studies also where I'm like, oh, everybody knows about this or they don't care to know, but there are those people who have the desire to know and they just don't know, and they're not in those environments, but they still have that curiosity, that spark, that drive, that hunger. And yeah, I just feel like what a beautiful weekend I have. What a wonderful celebration of life. What incredible opportunities to be aware of my shift and my maturity emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and how I see myself being a leader in this space, because there are billions of people. And when I heard her and I was really trying to gauge like where her knowledge was at, because she said she had been reading some things, and like doing better to learn how to manage her emotions and tap into herself and those types of things. And she said she didn't know what the law of attraction was. I was like, sis, listen, you gotta stay hungry, stay in it, keep learning, keep growing, because that's a big one, and there's so much more. And it just really re-sparked my heart, and I feel like I'm entering a whole new season, you feel me, a whole new era, level, you feel me. And that's just really exciting when you've been doing something for quite some time, and when you started doing it, it was something that people weren't particularly interested in, but you've been finding more people that are interested, and now you're finding people that are interested who don't have that same built up of knowledge. And it really is about understanding where you are and where your knowledge is, and how you can share that with other people so that you can elevate them, or invite them to elevate, I should say. But yeah, it just really blew my mind and let me know that the world is full of opportunities and possibilities, because there's always going to be new people. We don't really come out of the womb knowing how to articulate these things, even if we know them energetically. Um, we don't really know how to articulate them, and that's where that curiosity comes from, that's where that thirst and that hunger comes from. So that's why I really love working with younger people, because there's something that we know when we're younger, and we can feel it being squished out of us or put into a box, and we're like, what is this, so that's where I'm here to help fill in that gap. And I just love that God, the universe, source, the divine allowed me to have that beautiful celebration of life, and canceled those other three Ubers so that we could get on this fourth one with this beautiful young lady whose name was Summer, by the way. And yeah, I just want to send everybody so much love from that evening. It wasn't specifically for my birthday, but it was also just a celebration of life. And I just, I'm grateful for the opportunity to celebrate my return of life. In that way, I really feel like Spirit, God, the divine was looking out for me. And I was just so open to the lessons and the opportunities. And it was beautiful to be in that space and have been sober for a while and been a little tipsy, which could be fun. You feel me? A little intoxication from time to time is makes life merry, you feel me? But still being cognizant, still being conscious, and aware of the world and the universe, and how being spiritual, being metaphysical, it doesn't just go away when when you had a few, like I had a shot of tequila. You feel me? You had a couple sips of gin. You feel me? So yeah, I just really wanted to speak on that, and um, just express my gratitude to myself for being on this journey and being open, and really doing the work, and grateful to the universe that these universal laws are um, real, that they are not able to be manipulated, and that when you do the work on a consistent basis and you instill these ideas, when you wash your brain from the programming and the conditioning, and you really tap into your inner spirit and your inner knowing and understanding, that's something that doesn't just click off. You feel me? A lot of people who claim to be like positive or uplifting or motivational or whatever, you get a couple drinks in them and they're like cussing people out and trying to start a fight or crying about their trauma. And I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I laugh to release because it's true. And we can get into a space where we think that, oh, this stuff is superficial, it doesn't actually create any sort of transformation or change. But I am here to be a living witness and example that it does. And you can still enjoy yourself. You can still be throwing your singles and waving your ones at the drag show with good intention. You feel me? Sharing love, spreading good energy. You feel me? In those spaces. You don't have to just be like meditating in a field or praying in a temple or reading a book. You can go out and celebrate life and have a good time. And yeah, I just really wanted to speak on that celebration of life that I had this weekend, because life also gave me some more new things to celebrate, and that was such a gift. So yes, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, spectacular, magical day. And whenever you're seeing this, I would love to hear your comments in the comment section, or DM me if this resonated with you at all. And check out my website, angelique.com. Check me out on Instagram, underscore ADC. Nope, not underscore. At ADC underscore life coaching, and on Threads. And just kind of around the internet. If you go to angelique.com, you can definitely see all of the social handles there. But I would love to get your take on people being curious and thirsty and hungry and having that desire to learn more, but not having the environment or the mentorship to really take that next step. What are your thoughts on that? And if you're somebody who would like to take next steps on that, let me know. Reach out. Again, go to my website, hit me up in the DMs. But yeah, I feel fresh at 30. Don't just say it. I feel fresh and new and reinvigorated. And I am sending you like blessings and love and light. Enjoy the rest of your day.